Hey everybody, this is Brett, and today I would like to run by you a whole lot of things that are going on in my head in regards to how things are largely with diet and trends and society, etc. And first of all, we see a whole lot of diet trends, and a lot of these things are going to come and go with the wind. And the reason being is that, people are impatient. People want this thing now. And, I haven't addressed my diet and changes very much in that way because I've learned the hard way over 20 years that I'm not going to get this perfect, beautiful Brett in that long. It's not going to happen. Mentally, physically, spiritually, or emotionally. And so what I'm doing is I'm just taking my healing one day at a time. And those of you that want to be oh so beautiful like Dara or like Natasha, St. Michael, etc. tomorrow, well, guess what? Probably not. But today I would like to talk to you about a diet that I've had aspirations on for about, I've been working on it, thinking about it, studying it for 20 years. And this specific one has probably not changed a whole lot in the last 10 years. That's how rock freaking solid it is. And, the first item is vegetables, and that consists of roughly 40% of the diet. And the second item is fruits, and that consists of roughly 20% of the diet. And those might actually kind of change over, in which in the summer you're eating a whole lot more fruits, and in the winter you're eating a whole lot less fruits. Because we're going to eat with the seasons. And we're not trying to eat all tropical foods or all raw foods. Some of it's cooked and some of it's raw. And it just depends on us and how much we can handle. Or, the time of the year. In the wintertime, we're going to be eating a lot more cooked foods, like squash and heavy greens and root vegetables. These are all very important foods. And, these trends that you'll see with people eating a lot of avocados or a lot of bananas or, that's just not gonna work when it comes down to it, especially if the shit hits the fan. We're seeing a lot of weather changes. Think about this logically, okay? Think about it logically. Think about how the Amish do their business. They've got a root cellar and they store vegetables for the winter. And, if the crap hits the fan, then you're going to have to maybe move into a situation in which you can live a lot more naturally. And when you live a lot more naturally, then you're going to learn the truth about the way to eat naturally as well. And it's not going to be eating gourmet raw foods. So it's not going to be. I mean, to a degree, yes. And these things are valuable for us to learn. But you need to learn the shades of gray about that are in regards to the truth and how things are to be really healthy. To be really healthy, you're not just focusing on diet. You're focusing on a lot of different things, and that's why it's called holistic healing. It's not called diet healing totally. That's not what does the whole job. What does the whole job is sitting quietly on the grass and breathing and listening to the birdies, meditating, reading and educating yourself, being nice to people, and the list goes on and on and on. And a lot of the foods that you'll eat in the summertime are going to be raw, and that helps you to re-energize and cleanse and the foods are going to be more vibrant in regards to energy. And you'll see that a lot of the raw foodists are kind of wired because they eat so much raw food. And in the wintertime, we're supposed to mellow out and we're supposed to calm down and cool down. And you know, I believe that there are herbs, certain herbs and foods that will help us, give us the ability to regenerate our pancreas and to create our own digestive enzymes, and that we don't need to eat all raw foods. That sometimes, yes, it is beneficial, but other times it's not such a good thing to eat cold foods when it's 20 degrees below outside. So, you think about it. You tell me. Do you think that that sounds logical? That's what's logical for me. It's what seems logical when it's really cold outside, and there are specific winter foods that are proven winners in December and January. The next thing is non-grain carbs, 15%. Quinoa and amaranth and buckwheat. And, you know, stay away, get away from glutinous grains. Glutinous grains are wheat, barley, oats, and rye. Those are the troublemakers, and those are the foods that are geared more towards feeding livestock, in my opinion. Move out of those and start eating a lot more brown rice and millet, and then start working your way onto more and more of the superfoods. Okay, the superfoods are quinoa and amaranth, and to a degree buckwheat, and also a non-glutinous, non-grain carb food is wild rice. Now the 4 non-grain superfoods are quinoa, amaranth, buckwheat, and maybe even some wild rice mixed in with it. And most of the rest, like millet and teff and rice, those are all grains, and those are great transition foods to get you off of the glutinous grains. Consume the millet rice bread. That's good. It's in a yellow package. That's a good transition food to get you off of wheat bread. And then maybe eat some millet or some rice pasta, or some rice, the lavash bread, the flat bread. And that's really good. And so, get off of the wheat for sure, because gluten clogs your digestive system. That was one of the first things that I totally got rid of. Now you're going to notice that I'm not going to mention dairy in any of these, and I'm not going to mention animal foods in any of these percentages, because those things clog your body. Animal foods clog you. Your body is a series of, it's a whole bunch of tubes. And you don't want to clog those tubes, because whenever you create stagnation, then that creates dis-ease and bacteria and parasites, and you don't want that in your bod. The next category would be beans. Okay? The bigger beans you eat cooked, and the smaller beans you can sprout if you want to. You may also sprout them and then cook them lightly, or you may also soak them and then cook them. Lots of variations with the beans, but in the summertime you're eating more of the little beans, and in the wintertime you're eating the big beans. Okay. Nuts and seeds, 5%. Now, when you get off of meat, you're going to want to eat a lot more nuts and seeds. You're just naturally going to want to eat a substitute for all that fat, and nuts and seeds are the perfect substitute for meat, especially peanuts. And for a while that's good, because you need all that vegetable quality fat to help you to dilute all that animal fat that's stuck in your body. Get off of the dairy. That's like freaking glue. Dairy is like Elmer's glue. So get off of that and start consuming. Almond milk is a good substitute for dairy. The coconut butter from Artisana is so awesome as a substitute for cheese. Get some of that. You'll love it. It even melts. Nuts and seeds, 5%. Seaweeds, 5%. Okay, if you're not eating seaweed, you need to start really getting on that, because seaweed has a lot of nutrients in it. I eat dulse with almost every single meal. I eat kelp almost every week. Bladderwrack, nori, wakame, all excellent seaweeds. And seaweeds are really, really good for your thyroid. And I'm not an expert on scientific knowledge in all these regards. I'm going to learn a lot more so that I can help to teach you better. But just bear in mind and know that seaweeds are really important for your thyroid. And if you don't get natural iodine, then your thyroid probably won't function well, or at least not optimally. Fermented foods. Now, fermented foods are going to pre-create the good flora that you need in your digestive system. And for us to be able to move forward with being smarter and more able to create raw and living foods, we need to, in my opinion, learn how to make some really good sauerkraut to mix it with, because sauerkraut is an acid food and it will help to break down other foods that need to be broken down. And yes, we will progress more and more towards learning about how to break down the more difficult foods that we would normally cook by using acid foods like sauerkraut. So, the one other very, very important foods, and these are foods that are mixed in with our other foods in cooking or made in teas, and that is herbs. And herb teas, herbal combinations are really important, and they help us to be able, they're like catalysts for everything else, because they are the healing medicine from God. And it's not from Merck or Pfizer or some of those companies. They're not ever going to be really expensive. They're always going to be made by people that know the truth about medicine from God, and those people are not living a lifestyle that is geared towards needing a whole lot of money. All they need is their banjo and sunshine and clean air and some good love and all of the things that are really important. And so, in addition to eating a 40, 20, 15, 10, 5, 5, 5 diet, and no, I probably won't be writing a book about that and call it anything close to that, because really, the things that are important in life and the things that really work and the things that are not just fads are things that are not going to ever make $1 zillion. They're not patentable, and they're really just rock solid things that enable people to have a nice life. And that's all there is to it. And so simplify your life. Don't get stuck in front of a freaking computer all day. I'm learning that. And don't do what the general society does here in America, because most people are in this speed-based mindset and this speed-based lifestyle. Simplify. Cool it down. Get rid of the car payment, the house payment, and the school loan. Don't take on those 3 freaking things. We are learning that the house, the school loan, and the car payment are just a drag on our life. Okay, stress is the #1 killer. And if you take on those big 3 payments, then you are going to be up the freaking creek. Okay? So just figure out how to ride your bike a lot more, live close to your work, start growing a garden, Get some roommates, get into a big house and live like the Chinese people and the Filipino people and the Mexican people, with a whole bunch of people in a house that you can get along with, and then learn something that you can really do, that you can create at home, probably your own little business, that you can make more money to create more income, cash income, that will help you to be able to buy groceries and simple things that you need in your day. And you don't have to have some big-ass education about something that's really not worth a crap. All you have to do is serve the world. Serve the world with some kind of an occupation that really means something. Not something that's just some bullshit that somebody thinks is actually valuable and isn't. That you might learn in college. That you paid 50 freaking grand to learn. Ah! Instead of becoming an architect and learning how to build some crazy ass stupid fucking building, go learn how to build a simple $2,000 straw bale house from somebody out in the country. That's an example of what I'm talking about. Something that's not toxic and full of chemicals. Okay, now I've said my piece and I hope you've learned something. I am not going to make 2 freaking cents from this, and I don't have anything to sell to you. Unless you want to go to my website, vitalitymassage.net, and check out the handmade products that I make on my sewing machine. Alright, be good, and I love you if you're cool and if you're natural and if you do things simply. Bye.